saved hundreds of lives during the massive shooting at the Navy Yard. Now, Corporal Keith Shibley is being honored for his bravery. The Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Police Department gave Corporal Shibley its Valor Award today. It is the highest honor given out by that agency. Shibley arrived at Building 197 within minutes of the call for a shooting. He and his partner helped evacuate the building. Back in September, gunman Aaron Alexis killed 12 people at the Navy Yard before being killed himself in a shootout with police.
There were countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
That's when a gunman took his life as well as the lives of 12 others. Well, today, one of the first police officers to respond when the shots rang out was honored.
Corporal Keith Shibley is presented the Valor Award for his immediate response and courageous actions during the shooting rampage at the Washington Navy Yard on September
When we found
16th.
people, we would escort them out because we didn't know where the shooter was. So we didn't want to direct people out of the door when the shooter could be around the corner. So half of us would escort them out, half the team would continue, and then when we would just, once they were escorted out, we would meet back up and go back in.
Multiple shots fired, multiple people down.
We didn't know if they were law enforcement shots or from the suspect at the time. They were on multiple levels as we were coming down the steps, but you could hear the shots while we were inside the building.
Can you describe the faces that you were rescuing?
Just shocked and scared. Some were calm and some were shocked and scared. It was just a mix of all emotions. I believe 77 law enforcement officers that entered the building that day, not to mention the countless people that were outside of the building. So it was an effort by the whole community and all the law enforcement partners within the district. It doesn't hit you probably until about the time you go home. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I could do something to save lives and didn't do it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have done something and didn't do anything at all.
But in 2013, the Navy Yard active shooter popped off where Aaron Alexis went in to the Navy Yard and just started killing people.
Yeah, this one I heard about.
Yeah. So, you know, my partner, Shay Matera, he was a DC police officer. We got along great, man. He did like deep cover stuff for like 10 years. Like people didn't even know he was a cop anymore. But Shay, it was just me and him at work. For some reason, I got to work early. I don't know if you know this, but most feds work Tuesday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's usually when most of the feds work. Their days are really, I'm just joking. It's a joke with them, but.
Oh, okay.
So it was just me and him there. And my boss comes running out and says, "Hey, man, there's an active shooter at the Navy Yard. You two get there." And so we just jump in my car, and it's about a mile and a half, I guess. And we get to the entrance of the Navy Yard, and the gate's shut. So we got to jump out of the car, put my vest on, so I'm in plain clothes, put my police vest on, and run the 2 blocks to the entrance. And at first, the captain, the DC police captain, didn't want to let us in because we had plain clothes on, and he was worried about like a cop-on-cop shooting. But we had our vest on that said police, and Shay's a very convincing guy, and it was his department. So they ended up letting Shay go in with a group of 5, and we didn't have like rifles. We just had our pistols. So Shay went in the middle of a stack of 5 people. So he had 2 uniforms with rifles in the front and back of them. And he went in with them, and then I went in with the next group of 5 in the middle. So we got split up, but as soon as you walked in, for the first time in my career, like I was worried about, usually in police work, the oh shit factor happens, and then you realize it happened and you're alive, right? So for the first, because it happens usually quick, and for that 2-block run and entering that building, I had time like, this could be it, dude. Because we got a call for 2 Middle Eastern males with AK-47s. That's how it came out over the radio. So I'm like, first of all, this vest is going to do absolutely nothing to a rifle round. It's going to go right through both sides of it. And I was scared shitless, man, to be honest with you. But it's like a scared adrenaline thing, man. It's like just like your scariest roller coaster. You know, you're scared, but you still want to go do it. So we enter the building. The first thing you see is the deceased security guard. Like, you have to step over him to get into the building because he's right at the door. And it was an atrium. It was a 4-story atrium. And I remember going in there. I was like, man, if he's sitting up on that like 4th floor, like we're all just done.
Yeah.
But luckily he wasn't there. We started going through this building trying to find him. The building was 2 city blocks long and 4 stories high. And because it was a military installation, it had like secret and top secret areas to it. So, you know, like your regular desks, cubicles in an office building, it had all those, but because it was sensitive information, all the cubicle walls were 5 feet high. So you couldn't like, it was like a maze trying to find this dude. He could be around any little corner. So we had to go slow, and I'm really short and I couldn't see over the 5-foot walls. But, you know, you started seeing, you know, people that were killed, and it hit me different because the first lady I saw was an African-American lady in a bright blue dress, and it ended up not being an AK-47. The gunman had a shotgun, and they were all pretty much point blank to the face.
Yeah.
So seeing her laying there with missing half of her head was just like, you kind of freeze for a second.
As you're still though looking for him,
Yeah.
you got to process that and then get back into where's he at. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was a bad scene, man. Most of them were to the face. So we're going in and out, you know, we're finding pockets of people that are hiding in place, and then 2 of us would escort them out while the other people went, and you'd link back up with more people and go back in. So I went in and out, I think about 4 times. And then the SWAT guy started showing up, and I was like, at this point I knew that the one gunman had been killed it was a DC police officer and a park police officer that ended up taking him out. But the call came out for 2 people. So we're still kind of searching. And it was a clusterfuck, man. Everybody's on different radio channels because you got 8 million departments in DC all responding to one thing. So nobody knows what anybody else is doing. SWAT teams start coming. And now to get into locked doors, they're breaching them with shotguns. So now all of a sudden you start hearing gunfire again. You're like, all right, maybe there is a second one. And it just took a while, but they ended up, once we figured out there wasn't another gunman, they cleared everybody out, and then they had like Park Police SWAT team go to floor 4, FBI SWAT team go to 2, and then they just cleared their floor. But by this time I was out and I was done. But because of the nature of the shooting, it was federal, and that's my squad's responsibility. So, you know, Shay and I link up, we start looking at video. They had a big video room, and we just started doing our investigative job. So, you know, I remember me and Shay were walking out of the building, and I looked at him, I was like, dude, I'm starving, man. I was like, it's got to be lunchtime, because the call came out about 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:22, I think was when we got there. I said, it's got to be lunchtime, man. And I finally looked at my watch, and it was 5 p.m. Like, I had no concept of time. I just looked down, and my wife had called me like 16, 17 times. Because she said she heard it at school that was going on. She goes, I knew you. She said, I just knew you were in there for some reason. So she was a little upset because, you know, it was like 8 hours later that I called her back. But then it started like, you know, a lot of times in policing, it's not really the traumatic event. It's how you're treated afterwards. That's 50% of it to me. It's not all that. It's how you're treated, man. The FBI ended up setting up a command post, and we went up there to see what was going on and see where all our other squad mates were, and we just got hammered, dude. Why did you go in the building? Why did you self-dispatch? You're representative of the FBI. We don't do that. We were here to do the investigative part. We're called rogue task force officers. Because as a cop, we're taught to go in and take care of the threat. But the FBI was like, you should have gone to the command post and wait further instruction. And that's not what we did. So now we're facing disciplinary action because we went in the building instead of going to the command post. And we were told to go back to the office. We were told to write a report on everything we did, everything we saw, everything we touched, blah, blah, blah. So me and Shay go back, man, and our desks kind of face each other. There's like a walkway in the middle. I'm just staring at my screen. It's not even turned on. It's just my screen's black, trying to comprehend what I don't even know what the hell just happened, man. I'm trying to compute everything. And like any good cop, Shay just looks at me and he goes, Shibley, fuck this. Let's just go to a bar. I was like, that sounds like playing, man. And we just got up and left, went to a bar, man. Because that's what we did. When we couldn't figure stuff out or we had a rough day, that was our go-to. My police department ended up giving me a commendation for going in there. So, I mean, that was nice, but I didn't realize how much that day affected me.